Duty franchise has absolutely lost its damn mind. What's up, guys? This is Spearfield7. Long time no talk. I've been working on so many editing projects over the last month. I'm gonna be making it rain on some of my bills. Not much else, but things are going really well. But today we're playing a little bit of COD World War II and a little bit of Modern Warfare Remastered, and we just need to unravel some stuff going on in the series because I really think the Call of Duty franchise is on an upswing. So I wanted to kind of unravel a lot of the latest developments in the series. World War II received a gigantic update last month where they fixed a lot of things that people were complaining about on day one. It's actually made the game experience a lot better when you're in the airborne division or you're running submachine guns. You're able to sprint out faster and aim down your sights faster, and just you can rush like classic Call of Duties that everybody knows and love. They've added all sorts of guns, they've added new camos, they've added new content basically, and they've taken their kind of casino supply drop system and made it a little bit more reasonable. We're not having 800 pistol grips in our supply drops now. We're getting a lot better stuff, a lot better quality stuff. Now when you switch over to BO3, which came out like 4 or 5 years ago, they've been doing their own holiday event. They did a winter redwood map. They've added new content, new camos, new guns to the game. And with Modern Warfare Remastered, they've returned to their sort of St. Paddy's Day event that they did last year. And basically, there's a huge battle going on for your attention as a Call of Duty player. And honestly, I think these are all fabulous, wonderful, great. Because as we all know, Fortnite is the hottest game in gaming right now, the Battle Royale stuff. A lot of the former Call of Duty mainstay YouTubers have gone over to that game, having a lot of fun with that game. I enjoy the game. I tend to like the arcade first-person shooter experience a little bit better, but Call of Duty's at a come-to-Jesus moment where they're actually now facing legitimate competition. Battlefield couldn't compete with Call of Duty, even though it's a great game. Titanfall 2, Titanfall, that franchise hasn't been able to compete with Call of Duty, even though it's a great game. And it's made by the people, the original Infinity Ward that made Call of Duty what it is today, as far as like top-selling game every single year. Also, by the way, last week I played the Titanfall 2 campaign for the first time in my life. One of the best campaigns I've played since maybe COD 4 Modern Warfare. The campaign of that game is awesome. I bought the game for like a sack of potatoes and like a pack of Doritos. I mean, literally, it's kind of disrespectful, honestly. Titanfall 2 is like $8 now, most places, and it's a game that dropped like in November. So it's basically like a very fresh, recent game. And haven't really played the multiplayer a whole lot, but the story mode alone is worth it in my opinion. But getting back into the Call of Duty franchise with all of these new developments, all the new content, and all of these recent games has just been a godsend for Call of Duty. I feel like more people are playing, the experience is better, and now we have this incredible news that Modern Warfare 2 is going to be remastered, and it has been kind of rumored that it's actually going to release like next month. That there's going to be a surprise release of the game, which I think would be a brilliant timing thing, because we already know Black Ops 4 is coming in the fall. Black Ops 4 is the most successful sort of series of the franchise, and so they aren't going to need any help pushing copies. But we're talking about Modern Warfare 2, which is a game that brings back a lot of nostalgia and a lot of great memories for a lot of Call of Duty players.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh! Oh! Get this fucking... Oh! No! Get the camera!
It's widely considered one of the most broken games of the series as far as all the OP stuff, the equipment, the guns. I'd be curious to see how much they change all of that stuff. But basically there was an Italian Amazon listing, an official Activision Blizzard account announced this game, and then it's been pulled down since then. But honestly, you can't fake that. If you have to be an official representative to have an official company stamp as far as the product's availability and where it's coming from. So this leads me to believe that something like this is actually going to happen. And like I said, I think it's incredible timing that they're doing it in April, because let's face it, Fortnite is the hottest game on the scene right now. They need something to tie people over, and so I think it would be a welcome addition to tie people over the summer in getting ready for Black Ops 4 to release that game in the spring. Honestly, over the summer, there's not really a whole lot of gigantic game releases, just typically. Most of the AAA publishers wait until the holiday season, like in October, November, December, to release their biggest games of the year. And this time of the year, you know, spring, where, you know, we're seeing some good games coming up. Far Cry 5, a couple other things are coming out. So, but in general, like, after like May through July, there's not a whole lot being released. There's been kind of a criticism or kind of the counter argument that this isn't going to happen from a lot of folks, which is possibly valid too. Maybe they are working on the game, but they're gonna shelve it for a while. But a lot of the biggest counter arguments is that the game is only like $25 American. And people are like, oh, since it's Activision, there's no way that they would sell it for that amount of money. But honestly, this is a business decision, and if they're going to compete with Fortnite and other games, they have to make it very attractive to the buyer. It doesn't surprise me, because as we've found out in the past 2 or 3 years, Call of Duty is making as much money on the microtransactions on the DLC than they actually are on selling the base game. But with all of this new content, we got new guns in World War II, we got all sorts of events going on all over the COD spectrum. It also is kind of a double-edged sword. It kind of feels like this is the final death knell of Call of Duty, mainly because we're seeing this desperate grasp with new content, new stuff to try to keep players engaged. It's a game that I honestly get in November and I start to feel tired of by about this time of year, you know, March, April season. Black Ops 2 is kind of the only one that was the exception for me personally. I played the shit out of that game for several years, never got old for me, it was a lot of fun. But this is the time of the year where people kind of start to drift away from Call of Duty, and so games like Modern Warfare 2 Remastered would definitely bring a lot of people back to the game. But as we all know from all of this new flush of content, I do think it's promising. I do think that Call of Duty is feeling the heat from its competitors, and that if it is a series that's dying, it's not going to go down without a fight. So I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments below, but I just wanted to share some of the head-scratching and interesting stuff that the franchise is doing lately. So until next time, this is Spearfield 7. See y'all later.